proud sponsors of the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. Cartel.ie, for car history data you can trust. Buying a used car? Get an exclusive coupon code now. See the comment section for more details.
This is the all-new Cupra Leon. Now, if you're wondering where the Seat part has gone, well, you may or may not be aware that Cupra, formerly the sporty division of Seat, is now a stand-alone brand and has been for a couple of years now. They first brought us the Cupra Ateca, which we've actually reviewed on the channel, and I'll pop a link to that somewhere below. And in the meantime have brought us the Formentor, which is their first original design of a sporty SUV type thing. And now it's the Leon's turn for the Cupra treatment. But it's not the Leon Cupra as previous incarnations might have been known, it's the Cupra Leon. This is really confusing, isn't it? Let's just have a look around. So we'll start with the boot, as we always do, and the Cupra. What the hell are you doing in there?
I could see you were struggling with the whole Cupra thing, so I said I'd tag along, yeah?
Oh yeah, always trying to steal the limelight.
It's my channel now.
I could actually do it with a hand.
Okay.
Do you need a hand?
I need a hand.
Let's talk about Cupra. So what do you know about Cupra?
I know a bit, but I've not actually driven one, and that's probably why you found me in the boot. I'm intrigued to figure out what's going on with the old Cupra
still
thing.
flabbergasted how you got in there.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we didn't plan that
I
at
know.
all, yeah. So yeah, I don't know a huge amount. Obviously that's based on Seat and is now a standalone brand.
So what I was trying to explain there was the whole breakaway brand concept. So we have seen it before. Toyota and Lexus is probably a good example.
Yeah.
Where a brand has like maybe a very sporty or a very premium end, and then that badge goes standalone and becomes the brand. And Citroen and DS is another
Citroen
good
and
one.
DS, Hyundai and Genesis.
Hyundai and Genesis.
Nissan and Infiniti.
There you go. You're a wealth of information
Oh,
on the
sure,
breakaway
look,
brand.
It's like I know them. Do you think they work?
I think it works in principle.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it makes sense. This is a very different image, I think, to Seat, who are probably maybe pursuing the more family stuff now. Definitely a very kind of young and trendy vibes from it. I do like this brand. I'm quite excited about it. And I like where they're going with the whole, I love a copper accent. And there's plenty of those.
Do you like the copper badge?
The badge is very unique.
Yeah, it's come in for some abuse, shall we say. But it's different.
It's different as in...
And brave.
It kind of looks like a tattoo that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson might get on his bicep.
Someone got that tattoo back in 2006, for sure. With a barbed wire one over it.
Or they wore it on a chain and came back from Thailand, you
And
know, with a houndstooth or something.
Yeah, with
so
the baggy trousers.
the baggy trousers. And
And
they
just-
found themselves over there.
Yeah, and they found a badge.
And they found a badge. Did we do some more useful examinations? Like,
We better, I think. We
the
better
boot,
get
for
back
example?
on course. Yeah.
were you comfy in there?
I actually was. And, you know, I was in the fetal position and I was fairly cramped, but I fit in.
Yeah, well that's
Yeah.
impressive because this is actually the plug-in hybrid version,
Of course it is.
which will be a surprise to no one. I think it's more of a surprise when a car doesn't have a plug-in
Getting
hybrid
to that stage.
version now.
Yeah.
So that basically means that the normal 380 litres of a Leon or Cupra Leon type vehicle is reduced to 270,
Okay.
which on paper is quite small. I mean, that's more befitting of a super mini
Yeah, it really is.
rather than a
Fiesta-ish.
hatchback.
But it's actually quite a usable space.
It
and like we
is.
said, I fit.
You fit in there, so what more do we need to know? Oh, except that there is a Sports Tour estate version, and I can
great.
see that. I can see that being quite a popular option for people for whom space is a priority because of that. But
Yes,
if not, it's usable.
Yeah, I do live in a state, but that's actually okay. I thought it'd be worse, especially when you hear that number.
And it's comfortable.
It is comfy.
You enjoyed being driven around in there.
In the fetal position.
Excellent. Shall we have a look at the back seat?
Yes, please.
So this is the back seat of the Leon, and it is a very spacious affair back here. This driver's seat is now in Anthony's position, who is 6 foot. I'm sitting behind his position at 5'6". I've loads of room. We're also going to treat you to a cutaway of him sitting comfortably behind himself at 6 foot. If we realise we're showing the extremes here, it's very, rare that you're going to have to put someone 6 foot behind someone 6 foot in a car like this, unless you're off on a surfing trip for 6 foot and over, which is very much what the advertising around this car and cars like it are like. You never see them like on the, just going to Aldi or the dump. But look, it's very comfortable back seat, definitely geared more towards 2 than 3 because you've got quite a large transmission tunnel here. But when you do have 2, they will be very comfortable. You've got 3-zone climate control. a couple of mini USBs for charging gadgets, magazine holders, and a pull-down centre armrest complete with cup holders. So what more could you want? So this is the front of the Cupra Leon. Still very Leon-esque.
Incredibly, it feels basically you dropped in a Leon. So
Except you've got a few more rock badges and coppery bits around the place.
yeah, quite a lot more coppery bits actually. How do you feel about the copper?
I
Or is
like
it bronze?
it. It's not quite gold and it's not quite silver. It's
No.
something different. I like it.
It's third.
It's something different. Third place. But no, I actually like it.
Yeah, it is different. It's not normal.
Yeah, a little bit out of the ordinary. And then we've got full leather bucket sport seats on this one.
Yes, with more copper and more badging.
More copper and more badging.
How do you feel about them?
They're
How
very
do we say it without?
they're very comfortable. Now I'm not sure of the origins of this leather.
Was it a cow?
I don't know.
It doesn't feel like
It
any
doesn't
cows.
feel like it used to be a cow, but it didn't say otherwise. It didn't call it vegan leather
Right, or pleather.
or pleather.
Maybe a cheap cow.
But in general, it's quite a nice layout. Same infotainment system as the Seat Leon, as far as I can see, except for the Cupra logo on
Yeah.
startup
I'm not a huge fan of it.
of the Leon infotainment system.
No,
Why is that now?
It's just, it can be frustrating and kind of tricky to use at times.
My one major annoyance with it is the inbuilt aircon controls, because they're just a little bit fiddly to use on the move. Other than that, it's like I'm not majorly one way or the other on it. It's very smartphone-esque
Yeah.
with these kind of small,
Small, colourful icons.
small icons and the apps, but so much so that I actually tend to prefer to just use CarPlay on it because it simplifies things and it's
Yeah.
your own interface. But I do that with a lot of cars nowadays.
Yeah, it's colourful but confusing, a bit like Killer's lyrics. Like, are you a dancer or are you human? Have you got soul or are you a soldier? That's how I want to personify it. It's colourful but confusing.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
Plus, my heated seat is in the screen.
Yes, there's too much that has to be accessed through the screen, and it's a little bit frustrating, especially I was driving down here today in kind of trickier conditions where you needed to have your demister on, but then suddenly you're very warm and you need to, there's a little bit too much thinking
Yeah,
involved.
there's a learning curve,
There's a learning.
to put it lightly. Yeah.
Other than that, the layout is generally good. You've got space for your phone, like so.
Wow.
Cup holders, big enough to fit that actual remnants of an actual caramel frappuccino, because I am that basic.
You are that basic. Fair enough.
Can you not tell I've had a lot of sugar and caffeine today?
It's working.
So a quick word on spec, if I may.
Oh yeah, off you go.
There's only one trim level available on the Cupra Leon e-hybrid, which is good news for me because it means less to remember.
Saves life, yes.
So let me attempt to remember. Do you want to do a little jingle in the background, or will we add it after?
Add it after. I can't sing. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I like that. You could go.
Is that right? Keep going.
So you've got your 19-inch alloy wheels, your dark tinted windows, you've got your bucket sport seats, leather in this case, but that is an optional extra. Full digital cockpit.
Yeah, I like the
I
digital.
really like
cockpit,
that.
yeah.
It's good. It's a nice
Yeah.
premium touch, isn't it?
Yeah, I have mixed relationship with the infotainment, but I love the digital.
So just
cockpit,
look
yeah.
straight ahead and don't.
Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, driver focused.
Yeah, I really like that as well. I do love a
Yeah,
good digital cockpit. It's nice the way they've done it as well. It's quite a sporty vibe and you can change the views and whatnot. You've also got 10-inch sat-nav. It's quite a good sat-nav system, I'll give it that. Loads of safety gear. There's lane keep assist, light assist and adaptive cruise control. So the options on this one then include things like the leather upholstery. There's actually a different set of 19-inch alloy wheels on this one. There's actually quite a selection to choose from in the catalogue. I don't know if you've had a chance to have a
I saw
look.
some of them. Some of them are funky.
Some of them are very out there.
Yeah, they're out there. They're a brave choice.
I like what they went with. It's subtle enough,
Yeah,
but
these are good,
you
yeah.
can go very coppery. Put it that
Yeah,
way.
You can go very 9-inch nails.
Yes.
Yes.
So with options, like I said, about €3,500. That's on top of a €46,000 starting price for the e-hybrid,
Gee.
which brings you close to 50. But then, of course, you take off your €2,500 government grant for being a plug-in hybrid, and you're down to a slightly more reasonable €47,500. Slightly. So it would want to drive very well, is what I'm trying to say.
Shall we find out?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go.
So, since you've decided to tag along today by the boot,
By the boot, yeah.
what would you like to know about the Cupra e-hybrid? As a viewer, what do you think you'd like to know?
Right, well, I know you've driven Golf e-hybrid. You've You've driven Skoda IV Hybrid, VRS as well. You've driven the Seat Leon Tourer, and now in this hybrid. So, what's the difference?
I've actually spent my time in the old Volkswagen Group hybrids.
So is there much difference between them, or are they basically all the same, just with a bit more power?
Yeah, so they've all kind of got different feels, I suppose. This is most similar to the RS IV powertrain, same one in fact, but
which you felt was going to be your most favourite car ever.
I really did, didn't I? I was so hyped up over that car, I remember that, exactly, being very excited at the prospect of an electrified RS, but then being slightly disappointed with the interpretation because it just wasn't enough of one or the other. I mean, it was good as a plug-in hybrid as this is, but
it's the badge
lacking
pressure.
lacking the outright performance as an RS. And to be honest, I feel kind of the same about the Cupra.
It's that performance pressure.
But at the same time, I don't feel like it has the same pressure as the RS because Cupra's a standalone. It doesn't say sports anywhere in the name.
Yes,
you just kind of
true.
expect a certain level, and it is. Like, I mean, it's. One thing I will say is it is a different car with the battery full, obviously. So, I mean, and it's really lovely to drive on electric power. It's nippy, zippy, quick, but probably not any more exciting than your typical electric car.
Okay.
And then the thing is, you do need some charge in that battery to access that 245 brake horsepower.
Does it feel like 245?
It doesn't. And this is the thing with plug-in hybrids. I just don't think they ever feel as powerful as they say they are on paper.
Yeah. It's like a peak power at a moment, nearly. It's not a full feeling of that power.
Yeah, and like I said, you need some charge to access the power, and you know, when you're in hybrid mode, yes, it's very quick. It's lacking a little bit in acoustic excitement. Even in Cupra mode, you have got different driving modes. You've got Sport, Cupra, and then Comfort, and then you also have the option to leave it in pure EV mode and do some very kind of clever power-saving tricks. You know, say for example, if you're going on a motorway trip and you know your EV power is not going to go too far, you can save that for the journey home or when you're in and around town.
Okay.
So look, it's a very pleasant car to drive. The Cupra badge does give it a weight of expectation.
Yeah, it does.
But I suppose it handles really well, very similar to a Leon, in other words, very well. It's
nice,
got
tight, flat.
Tight, flat, it's got a nice steering setup, not too crashy.
No, I was expecting it to be a bit more uncomfortable just with the battery and the weights and stuff. It's still there, but it's not bad.
Well, it's like the Golf E-Hybrid. I feel like the chassis carries the weight a little bit better. It's a little bit lighter on its feet than the RS was, I will give it that.
Okay.
And yeah, other than that, look, it looks good. There's loads of safety features. It's something different.
Yeah, I have an opinion on this, and I might save it for the conclusion though.
So, final thoughts on the Cupra Leon?
Yes, and I have a handful, shall we say. I like how it looks. There's no getting away. It's a good looking car, isn't it?
It is, definitely looks good. Nobody can argue with that.
No, but...
Because it's a Leon.
Yeah, Leons are good looking, and that's it. And that's a fact of life. But I have some little apprehensions that I'd like to
go on, hit us with them, even though you weren't invited on the review.
No, but I'll still bring out my opinion because that's why I'm here. I think it's particularly this e-hybrid is maybe just falling between the cracks. If you look at the Cupra lineup on its own, I can see the appeal of the Formentor just because it's got its own identity. It's good looking as well, and it's different, and it has that whole SUV vibe. The full fat Cupra, I really see the appeal of because 300 brake horsepower and what's not to like. And they're the two appealing ones, and I'm not sure the e-hybrid is quite there. And look, I know you're going to laugh at me because this is where I always go, but you can get a 6-speed manual GTI Golf for 46 grand.
Always with the manual.
Always with the manual and the Golf. It's like this little standard I have, and I can't help it. But I still do quite like this.
Okay, yeah, well look, it's difficult and sometimes you can be comparing apples and oranges. I like the car, I like where they're going with it, and I liked the idea. As I said, I feel like maybe mixing the e-hybrid and performance angle was maybe trying to do too much.
That is the issue,
on the one
isn't
car.
it? Yeah.
But as far as the brand goes, I'm really excited for Cupra and where they're going. They've got an all-new electric model on the way. I think it was originally called the L-Born, and now it's going to be called the Cupra Born.
Born.
I'm sure we won't know we're born when that arrives. That's so bad.
So bad.
So bad.
Good. So good.
And I also read recently that Cupra's full range is going electric by 2030. So
Right,
that's
like
exciting
everyone
too.
going that way. But it is exciting, and I think Cupra has actually captured people's imaginations, because that's a risky thing to do, just to separate a brand like that. But it seems to appeal to people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Shall we
leave it there.
leave it there? Yes, I think we shall.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this Two Heads, One Review. If you
Yeah.
did, let us know if you'd like to see more like this one. We won't make them travel in the boot the next time.
Why not? Please.
Please give us a like and share if you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more like it, you can hit subscribe and be notified when we upload new content, which is generally every Wednesday. If you'd like to see a Cupra, you can search for one on CarsIreland.ie. We've got a shiny new website there with lots and
Yeah,
lots of
it's so good.
Seats and old Cupras and
Everything in between.
whatever you like.
Yes.
So until next week.
Bye.